Here's a typical layout of a home in Southwest Florida, okay? And as you'll notice, the thermostat is in the hallway of a typical style home, which we typically have one return with either bypasses, or what we'll see is in the past, if we bring the return, which is the most common, that's where you're going to change your filters and so forth. That's where you have a filter grill, change it in your house. This is standard from the 80s to today. Now today you'll see some bypass grills above doors, or some builders will actually filter them and bring the returns to every bedroom, which should be done. That's the way we think in our industry. They should be returned to every bedroom.
All right, so that's absolutely correct. You know, typically you find your thermostat in a hallway or some centralized zone, the main return normally being in that area next to the thermostat to try to get an accurate bead on the temperature flowing back to the return duct to the air conditioning system before it's conditioned. Now, when you start talking about supply, obviously you've got supply ducts in every bedroom. You're going to have a supply duct in the bathroom. Living room usually has a single main kind of in the middle. If it's a larger style room, you may have more. An area like this is probably going to share one larger grill in the middle, blowing both directions. Master bedroom, similar situation. You're going to have supply ducts here. You may have a supply duct in the closets. However, there's a lot of times that we'll see they will not condition these spaces. So depending on the house that you have, it may or may not have ducts in these rooms, but that is something to consider if you do store different types of items in your closets up on the top shelf storage space. Just to note that sometimes you'll find hot spots or high humidity zones in those closets if they do not have supply grills going in that area. Bathroom, again, same situation. You're going to have a supply grill there as well. If you have kind of a walk-in style bathroom where the toilet is actually located, you may have another grill in there, you may not. It really just depends on how your house layout is, but this is the typical layout of a standard style home. You know, ducts in all condition zones. Again, closets are variables. You know, the water closets are another variable. You're also going to have one here in the laundry room. The way this starts to break out, everything has to originate from the supply plenum. Again, the return air comes in through the grill into the return ducting, getting conditioned through the air handler, and everything spits back out of the supply. Typically your layout is going to look, you know, somewhat like this. There's probably a main duct that goes over here to a mixing box. Okay, this is something that's usually made out of fiberglass ductboard. Supply main comes up here, then it begins to split off something like this. And again, that's how these rooms are going to get fed, is from this one main trunk line. You have further zones away from the house, so a lot of times you're going to have something that in this scenario is probably going to come up through this area and shoot over here to yet again another mixing box. And we're going to throw ducts in here, and then possibly a third trunk line running through here to a larger area or main living space, something to that effect. And the ducts are going to split off to these zones.
So I've got a question, Matt. I hang out all the time in my garage, and it gets hot as hell in Florida. Mm-hmm. Why can't I have a supply in my garage?
Okay, the main reason you can't condition a space like your garage, we have a lot of homeowners ask that question all the time. They want to, you know, maybe just throw a supply grill in there. They want to get air into that unconditioned space to make it a little more comfortable. If they have a workbench, some people turn it into a workout room, things of that nature. The reason why you can't condition the garage off the main house of the system is carbon monoxide. It's a law, it is code. We would be in violation if we did that, and it's just not safe for you as the homeowner. When you have stuff like a car pulled into the garage, any motorized components, the exhaust fumes, even once you pull in, yes, the car is shut off, but the garage does close, and there is still, you know, a gaseous nature within that garage, which will migrate up into the duct system. That being said, the typical solution for something like that, if you are interested in conditioning a garage, would be a mini split system, which we've talked about in a couple of our other other videos to kind of educate you guys on what they do. We've also talked about whole home mini splits, where you would do away with all of this ductwork and have individual heads and independent room control. So if you can kind of watch our other video, use this as a baseline layout for how your home looks, to know that you could condition every space individually, which would include something like a garage.
Matt, you make some great points. Keep in mind that these systems aren't as expensive as you might think. The manufacturers are offering great rebates right now through the fall to make these affordable for every homeowner.
So after we've talked about kind of the duct layout as a whole, if you do have a hot or a cold spot, a lot of homeowners think that this is just something that they have to live with. This is something that's going to be a massive overhaul. It's going to take a lot of money to fix. They're going to have to tear things out and redo things and basically reconstruct the entire duct system. And that's not always the case. In fact, contradictory to that, a lot of times it's a very minor issue. I've kind of modified this box over here so we can address one of those concerns. A lot of times it's something as simple as the positioning of the ductwork. So as you can see, we have a main feed that comes into a box. It's going to hit the back of this box, pressurize it, and disperse through the other ducts. Notice I've modified this bedroom back here. If this were a hot spot in the home, and we were to send one of our technicians out to do an analysis, the first thing that they're going to notice is that it comes out of the opposite side of the box, has to make a full 180-degree turn to get back towards this direction, not to mention the fact it's positioned at the start of the box. What that causes is, again, path of least resistance. When the air comes into the channel, hits the back of the box, it pressurizes from back to front. Okay, so this duct is going to be the last duct that gets pressurized. And again, we only have so much air coming through the channel. If there's enough airflow and enough pathway for this air to escape through the first duct that it hits, that's the path it's going to take. Therefore, this duct right here, even though it's attached to the box, may be getting no airflow at all. So if this was the issue that you were having in this particular bedroom of not getting enough air, this is a simple enough fix to say, okay, number one, is the main feed big enough? In this situation, let's say, yes, it is. However, we're not dispersing that correctly. What you want to do is pressurize the largest ducts first and the smallest ones back from that. So something like a bathroom should be behind a bedroom, just like it is on this side. However, on this side, we're feeding another bedroom, the laundry room, and then trying to kick this back to the other bedroom that is the culprit in this scenario. So an easy fix to this would be to take this duct from here, okay, and move it to here. Okay, so that way we're pressurizing a bedroom, then another bedroom, and then kicking the remainder to the bathroom. And again, notice as easily as I fixed that, that's what we would be doing to the ductwork itself. We're just going to pull this duct out of this side, patch that ductwork. Again, it's fiberglass ductboard. It's something that we can patch, seal that back up, and relocate that duct over here. This is not an expensive repair, guys. This is something that's easily fixable. Again, this is a common problem. So if you do have issues like this with hot spots, cold spots, specific rooms not getting hot or cold enough, it may be an easy enough fix. Just give us a call, let us come out and take a look. We'll be able to assess that for you and let you know what your options are. Again, don't always think that this is a major overhaul. It could be something as simple as moving a tube.
And those are some great points, Matt. One thing to remember is that maintenance is key to preventing all of this from happening. If you ever have a contractor that will give you a quote for your air conditioning system over the phone without doing any type of load calculation or duct sizing enhancement or measuring the ducts to see how the airflow is, you probably shouldn't be dealing with that contractor. And at your maintenances, they should always be checking the static pressures in your plenums to make sure that if you have any type of growth, anything growing in the air handler, that this is typically the main cause for this. So hire a contractor that checks these things, not just in and out, just checking the equipment and going. This is 80% of your air conditioning system is your ductwork. The other 20 is what the air handler and the condenser produce for you.
So when we're talking about how an air conditioning system is designed and how many CFMs should be going to each
Whoa,
space.
Matt, you're making this sound so complicated, and it is. But this is why you hire a licensed professional to evaluate your duct system.
That's true. Give us a call, Island Air.
Whether maintaining what you have or you're looking for the best of what's new, Island Aire of Southwest Florida will be here for you.